The Earth keeps its average temperature around 14 degrees Celsius, thanks to the greenhouse effect. So, the greenhouse effect alone is not the villain. If there weren't greenhouse effect, the Earth's average temperature would be around minus 19 degrees Celsius. The climate system is formed mainly by solar radiation. From the radiation the sun sends to the Earth, part is reflected back, and part is imprisoned by the greenhouse effect. From what is kept in the planet, most is absorbed by the oceans and land. But one part remains in the atmosphere, covered by water vapor and greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, CO2. The problem with the greenhouse effect is that from at least 650,000 years, the level of carbon dioxide is not as high as today. In 2013, it broke the mark of 400 parts per million, and it continues rising, being above 403 parts per million at the end of 2017. How to stabilize the greenhouse effect? The first answer would be by diminishing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But how? One option would be taking CO2 out of the atmosphere, making it be absorbed by the oceans and land. But there are limits for this. In the case of the oceans, they will become more acidic, which is not good to the maritime ecosystem. In the case of land, the amount of trees in the world should be risen in order to absorb the CO2 excess. But we are going in the opposite direction, deforesting to open space to new cities and cattle pastures. Another option would be the utilization of a new technology to take CO2 from the atmosphere, the CCS, carbon capture and storage. The limitation here is that this technology is incipient, is still expensive, and, under its current form, insufficient to remove substantial amounts of CO2 from the atmosphere. A third option would be trying to influence the atmosphere in another way, creating a counterbalancing cooling effect. One observes that after a volcano eruption, the scattered ashes block the solar rays, cooling the planet. But only volcanic explosions of great proportions can cause significant cooling effects, as seen after the eruption of Krakatoa in 1883 in Indonesia. The most viable and with greater impact option is diminishing the emission of CO2 and other greenhouse gases. The problem here is that several current economic activities produce CO2 and, in order to reduce significantly the emissions, deep changes in energy generation matrix and in transportation fuels shall happen. This would be the main necessary changes. There are others, and they should happen as quickly as possible. We'll talk some more about the greenhouse gases in our next video. Until then,